Good morning, children. See, we already started the lesson. What is the lesson called here? Twelfth chapter. No, what is it? Cultural and traditions changes in Europe. See, we come across that how that ancient culture and tradition flourished in European continent, and how it was destroyed or declined, and later how it started getting regained or rebirth or revive the culture. Okay, that's what we named it actually. What is it actually named as? Renaissance, isn't it? It's what actually called Renaissance or rebirth or revival of the culture. So now we go through further who are the people played major role in this process of rebirth or revive of culture in Europe. So that is what actually called a new concept, humanism. What is it called? Humanism. And basing on this ideology or concept, that new kind of universities or colleges have been established in Europe. That's what we are going to study here. See, children, here this map we already come across here that the eastern part of European continent, what is it actually known as? We come across, what is it? Byzantine Empire, isn't it? Byzantine Empire, for which Constantinople was capital. Okay, here you can observe some of the places given here in this Europe map. You find you see that Macedonia. Can you observe here? Macedonia. It is located in Greece country. Greece. You know that Greece. You know that Macedonia is actually the birthplace of Alexander, who actually invaded on our country, who wanted to become that superior of the world, isn't it? So this is what we find Athens, the capital of Greece. Athens, present capital of Greece, and we know that Athens is also the place where the first Olympic Games were also started, which are very popular now in the world, Olympic Games. Okay, and also you find here Bulgaria in the north of Greece. You find Bulgaria country. You see that here Constantinople, the capital of Byzantine Empire. Okay, now we go through this. What is it actually? Constantinople, it's a connecting point. It's a connecting point between Europe and Asia. In ancient times, the people used to come through the land route to Asia for doing business, for having some exchange of culture. Like we have discussed now that Alexander also, he traveled through this way. But what happened here in the year 1453? In the year 1453, the Constantinople, which was actually the capital of Byzantine Empire, which was overthrown. That means it lost its power, and it was occupied by a Muslim ruler, a Muslim king, who was the Turkish Ottoman Empire. So which has been took place here in place of, or which was replaced by Ottoman Empire, a Turkish empire in this eastern part of Europe. We find, observe here this one. We find here Asia Minor. We find here, no, Asia Minor. So this is the part we find. Actually, it was the part. So because of that reason, what happened? This Constantinople, which was the capital of Byzantine Empire, which was now under the control of whom? Ottoman Empire, a Turkish empire. You see that how this picture shows that how they are capturing the place of Constantinople. This Turkish king, a Turkish empire. So now we find here, because of that reason, what happened? The people who were staying in this area, what is it? We find in this part, Macedonia and some other parts in Greece country, they started migrating to other places. Why? Because of the threat of this Turkish empire. So here you find clearly that Constantinople, which is a connecting point in between Europe and Asia through land route. Okay. So now what happened here? Because of this, you find here some of the pictures of ancient scholars. Okay. So because of this reason, what happened here? The many educated people who spoke Greek language, one of the ancient languages of Europe. We have seen now here that what is it? Here you see the people who belong to Greece country. So whose native language is Greek, one of the ancient languages like Latin of Italy. So they started migrating from which place? Constantinople to Italy. Because of what reason? There was a threat for them. Here this place was occupied by Turkish empire or Ottoman empire. A new empire was established here. So in order to save their culture, their tradition, so they actually fled to Italy from Constantinople. Okay, did you understand, children? You see, these were some of the popular famous scholars or educated persons of Greek. You find here John Argyropoulos was a Greek Renaissance scholar who played a prominent role in the revival of Greek philosophy in Italy. Can you see his picture here? He's the man. Okay, next, Cardinal Bessarion of the place called Terbijod. Fontos was a Greek scholar, statesman and cardinal who was a head of a religion and one of the leading figures in the rise of intellectual renaissance. Next, Demetrius Chalkokondylis was a Greek Renaissance scholar, humanist and teacher of Greek and Platonic philosophy. Platonic philosophy is what? The philosophy of Plato, who was also a great scholar of a Greek country. Okay, here what happened? Because of these people who traveled or who left their country and settled in Italy, what did they do here? Some of them have brought some ancient Greek books with them and they started teaching them to Italians. Just like you see that you come across now children in our Telugu movie Seven Sense, like Bodhidharma. So Bodhidharma, who actually traveled to China, no? So he thought that ancient, what he find, that curing system. So our curing system అంటే ఏంటి? మెడిసిన్ సిస్టమ్. సో మెడిసిన్ సిస్టమ్ని చైనీస్కి నేర్పించాడు. So Bodhidharma. Like that, these Greek people also, they traveled to Italy and they along with them they took some books also. You see, one of the great scholar from China also, who was traveled to our country, whose name was actually Huyan Sang. He actually traveled to India by walk through Himalayas and all, and he traveled throughout country from north to south, every part of our country, and he gathered the culture, knowledge of our country, and he took it back to his country. That many books which were written by him. So like that here, Greeks also did the same thing, Greek scholars. So this what actually increased interest among the Greeks in the ancient Greek literature and language. You see children, here what happened, because of Italians when they started learning Greek language and Greek literature. Literature means what? The scripts or books which were written in a Greek language. So they started getting interest in learning all these things. So like you see that how our Indians started reading some books of foreigners because of the English language, English education. So which was also has some of the advantage in our country during the time of freedom movement. Okay, later what happened? The students of ancient Greek literature, so which was actually what we find here, dealt with the nature and interest of man, were called humanist. So what they were actually called? Humanist. So the students who were having the interest in ancient literature of which country? Greek country, and which dealt with only the nature and the interest of man. See here, what is it? They used to believe in nature. They used to follow nature and the interest of man. So these people were actually what called humanist. They were what called humanist. See some of ancient Greek scholars. You find here Herodotus. From the left side you find the first person. What is his name? Herodotus. The second person, great scholar of Greek, Plato. Okay. Next we find Sophocles and Homer. So these are what actually the people who are great scholars of Greek culture or Greek literature, philosophy. Okay, now what happened? The humanists became interested in the present world rather than a future life as the scholars of Middle Ages. You see that here, the humanists did not believe in the future life. They believe in what actually the present life only. We should live in the present, not in the future. So that is what actually we can say simply practical mannerism, practical thinking. So we should behave in a practical manner. We should not think about future, which was happened in medieval ages. Medieval ages lo enti mostly they used to believe in what? Religious thoughts. మతాలను ఎక్కువగా నమ్మేవారు కదా. సో కాబట్టి everything in nature, science and the arts that affected man now was important to the humanist here. So humanistly, what are their subjects? Nature, science and the arts. We know that arts means what? Painting, sculpture, whatever it may be, the arts related to everything which was affected the man, which was affected man now, was very important. Now, man now, not in future. The science, it may be nature, it may be art, whatever it may be. So they were what actually? The thoughts of humanists యొక్క thoughts anamata. You see here, humanism, this concept started in Italy. Actually ekkada start ayindi adi? It was started in Italyలో స్టార్ట్ అయింది. So where was it started here? This humanism, it started in Italy, but soon it spread to other countries. What are they? You find here England, Netherlands, which are towards north of Italy. Italyకి నార్త్లో ఉన్నాయి చూడండి. ఈవెన్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్రాన్స్ ఆల్సో. This is what Italy. This one, no? This is Italy. So later it spread to France, Netherlands and England. Okay. So here basing on this ideology, we find many universities were also established in England, in these countries. What are they? You find universities were established to teach subjects, like you find new subjects, law and religions. An educated man became interested. So educated men who are well educated, they wanted to learn about all these things. You see here, one of the greatest of these men was the Dutch. Just now we have seen the country which is called Netherlands. Netherlands is also called Dutch. Who was he? What was his name? Erasmus. You can see his photograph, his picture also. Is what called Erasmus. The period of this scholar is in between 1466 to 1536. Okay. You see here, he studied the New Testament in original Greek and writings of the early Greek Christians. So we know that New Testament is a part of Bible. The second part of the Bible is what called New Testament. Bible can be divided into two parts, Old Testament and New Testament. So it was actually originally written in the language Greek, and he studied the Greek language New Testament, which were written in the earlier times. Okay, you see that the New Testament in original Greek, you can find out the language of Greek also here. This is what the part of Bible. Okay, so basing on the writings of what we find Christianity in New Testament, he criticized some of the beliefs of church. He said these beliefs were based on superstitions. Superstitions అంటే ఏంటి? Blind beliefs, మూఢనమ్మకాలు. Blind beliefs. They are what called blind beliefs. Okay. And he also wrote a book which is what called Praise of Folly. Praise of Folly. This was the book written by, you can see this book written by Erasmus. Okay. So during the Renaissance, the humanist scholars acquired the books from Arabs and retranslated them into Greek and Latin and studied them. You see that here, during this time, humanists acquired the books from Arabs. So Arabs and who are they? Actually, they were belong to Asian continent. These Arabs actually, they gathered this information knowledge from India also, mathematics and in some other science and some other subjects, and they retranslated them into Greek language and Latin language, which were actually taken from India. Okay, so this is what about humanism. We'll discuss tomorrow related to the other concept, artist and realism. So you go through, children, the textbook material called humanism in your textbook and study well. Okay, అందరూ చదవాలి. Don't waste time. Time waste చేసుకోకండి.